Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about my time in competitive Pokemon. When I was 10 to 11, I decided with one of my friends, Joe, who I don't talk to a lot anymore, that we wanted to do competitive Pokemon. He had a bunch of Pokemon games, and I had Ultra Moon. So, we thought that between us we might have some cool Pokemon to use. We looked up tutorials, we learned how to EV train and do all this other crazy stuff, and it took some time. But we eventually went to our first competitive tournament. And I'm going to show you my team and tell you how I did. Because I think it's pretty cool. And while I don't do competitive anymore, it was a fun year or so that I did it. So starting off, we have Tapu Fini. This was like my setup Pokemon. I decided to use it even though I didn't have a Trick Room team. Despite its low speed stat, I wanted it to just take 2 hits, set up Light Screen Reflect, possibly get a Toxic off, and then maybe use a Scald. That's pretty much all that this Pokemon was good for, so I definitely gave it investments in defense, HP, and a little bit in special defense. And then I gave it Assault Vest so that it takes like no damage. The second Pokemon on my team, my amazing physical attacking Landorus Therian, who I still have to this day, who has investments in attack, speed, and a little bit in special defense, just to tank a few hits. He runs Protect with Choice Scarf, Stealth Rock, U-Turn, Earthquake. He was just in there to set up for Stealth Rocks, use an Earthquake maybe while he was there, U-Turn out, and then get ready for the next Pokemon, which was Mega Latias. This was the Pokemon that helped me sweep teams. This was probably the Pokemon that I used the most in my competitive time. I ran it with Mega Latias, with Latiasite, I guess. Technically, and that's how it has to work. He had Levitate, because why not, you know, it's useful. And then I ran him as a fast, bulky Pokemon who could take some hits and then dish them right back out. I gave him Calm Mind, Roost, Stored Power, Ice Beam, with investments in HP and speed, so that he could outspeed at any point, Calm Mind. If he takes some hits, he could Roost up, and then immediately, like, sweep teams with Ice Beam and Stored Power. He was a beast. Like, an absolute beast. Like, it was not okay how strong this Pokemon was. I cannot tell you how many games I won because of this Pokemon. Actually, I can tell you. It was, like, 5 or 6. I did not win a lot, honestly. I was, like, 10 and 11, so you wouldn't expect a 10 and 11-year-old to win. Next, we had Chansey. Chansey was a very bulky Pokemon at the time that a lot of people at my local tournament were using. So while it was not on my original team, I added it later on for a few of my later games. And I ran it with Eviolite, Natural Cure, and then for the moves, Seismic Toss, Toxic, Stealth Rock, Soft Boiled. And then with tons of investment in bulk, so it was very defensive, lots of HP, I think it had max HP Vs or something. Pretty high defense, if I remember correctly, and then very high special defense also. But next up, we had Azumarill. This was the Pokemon that I gave the Normalium Z to. This was the Pokemon that I was actually using Z moves on, because, you know, this was Gen 7. Ultra Moon, in case you didn't get that. He was shiny, just like my Landorus T, because I had found one in my game, and I thought it would be really funny to bring him, because he had huge power. So, I did, and I ran him with Belly Drum, Aqua Jet, Play Rough, Knockoff, and then gave him tons of physical attack, tons of speed, with a little bit of investment in HP so that he could take 1 hit. That's pretty much all he needed, and yeah, he turned into this beast of a Pokemon that also swept teams. Well, maybe not swept. He did a lot, okay? He was very useful. My final Pokemon was Volcarona. Volcarona I ran with the Ayapa Berry. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I've never heard it said in real life. So, the ability Flame Body, of course, and then I ran him with Quiver Dance, Fire Blast, Bug Buzz, and Hidden Power Ground. Hidden Power Ground to, of course, get rid of his weaknesses, take them all out, and then Quiver Dance, Setup, Fire Blast, Bug Buzz, you know, the normal stab stuff. And then I ran him with a special attacking set with max special attack, max speed, with a little bit of special defense in there. So now I'm going to tell you what happened in my competitive time. Like, what were the highlights, Noah? But what was so good about competitive Pokemon? Honestly, nothing. competitive Pokemon was fun, okay? I did it a lot with one of my friends. We had a lot of fun doing it, of course. Although we were young, and we were losing to adults who do this all the time. Because we were children. Towards the end, we started winning a lot more since we actually got better at the game. But I remember one game in the start, like, within the first 2 tournaments that we had went to. My friend Joe, I hope he doesn't mind me using him in this video. I doubt he'll watch it, so we'll be fine. He brought in his Cresselia, which is hilarious. Now, many of you might think, oh, Cresselia is not in this gen. I don't actually know. Wait, was Cresselia in this gen? I'm assuming it was, because I remember him bringing in a Cresselia. Maybe it was a Heatran. It was one of those two. Either way, he brought it in, and this other player, who was like, he looks like he was 40. I don't know what his name was. I don't know anything about him. He came to that one tournament and then never again. This guy swept his entire team because he set up with Calm Mind. Joe clicked Calm Mind once. It's a doubles battle, so he had another Pokemon in. Maybe that was Heatran. I don't really know. But he clicked, set up moves on both of his Pokemon. Didn't protect, didn't switch out, didn't attack. He just clicked Calm Mind. And this monster of another person earthquaked his whole team into oblivion. Because he had 2 Pokemon who were flying types and swept Joe's team. Because he had already, like, he had really good investments and a lot of really good things. His team was broken. Like, very, very good. But, yeah, that was a big thing that stuck out to me. And then I remember my last game that I did in competitive. I was in the finals. Not grand finals. So, like, I was in the winners finals, okay? I was against this crazy guy who came to almost all the tournaments. I think his name was Josh or something. I don't really recall. It was a long time ago, alright? I don't have as many memories about this, okay? I only did it, like, once a month for a year or so. So I only went to, like, 10 or 11 tournaments. Josh brought in Black Kyurem, which I thought, oh, okay. So I'll swap in, bring in, you know, a Steel type. Steel type's a solid thing to resist both types. And, you know, it was a good idea. At that time, I was running Metagross on my team. He's not on my team he wasn't on my team, like, for the majority of the time. He was the Pokemon that was replaced with Chansey later on. But I honestly switched him out for that because I thought that Steel was better at that point. And he was also very tanky. I don't really have a idea of what his stats were. I don't know how I built him, since I don't have any, like, pictures of any of that stuff. But I brought him in, and this other guy had switched in on the exact same turn, and he had brought in a stinking Volcarona, who is a beast in competitive. And this Volcarona slaughtered my Metagross. I don't know how. It was just a one-shot. It was an Oko. My Metagross was built bulky. I don't think he was built specially bulky, which is probably how Volcarona one-shot. But that was the most annoying thing, and then I went on to lose the battle. And I went into losers finals, and I lost to some other guy. I don't even know who he is. It doesn't matter. He's useless. But that was my final battle, and it was so depressing. Because I lost my one bulky Pokemon that could have tanked. Because all of his other Pokemon were weak to stinking Steel. He had Fairy types and Ice types. Like, I could have won if he didn't have that stupid Volcarona that OHKO'd my stupid Metagross. But, yeah, I would not suggest doing competitive Pokemon. I don't do it anymore because I cannot take the stress. And I'm not patient enough to wait to EV grind and do all that. So, I'll probably never do it again, but it was a fun year when it lasted. So, I'll see you guys next time.